What's up guys, Josh aka SavageHydraa here, and welcome to episode 2 in the how-to series, hopefully giving you everything you need to know to start planning, constructing and building your own competitive Pokemon teams. Today we'll be moving on from episode 1, in which I pretty much gave you everything you need to know to start hatching your ideal level 1 Pokemon, and this will be going on to show you how you can appropriately EV train them to give them their desired stats at the level that you're going to use them, whether that's level 50 or level 100. So first off, we'll start much like the first episode with essential items, and these again are the power items. In terms of EV training, when you give them to a Pokemon to hold, they grant 4 EVs per knockout for their designated stat. So the weight is for health, the bracer for attack, the belt for defense, the lens for special attack, the band for special defense, and the anklet for speed, much like their role in the IV assignment in the breeding process. So there we go, just got it all written down there in one part for you. And they're all purchasable from the Battle Maison in both X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire for 16 battle points. And to give you this into perspective, if you do one run of the regular normals, like the single or the doubles, like not supers, you will get 48 battle points at the end of each run after you beat the Battle Chatelaine. So that will give you enough to buy 3 of these items. And if you want to, you can aim for having 5 of each of them, and this will mean that you can just backlog them into loads of things in your party and bulk EV train many things in the same stat at the same time. Any more than 5 is just wasteful, because you're not going to be putting on more than 5 Pokemon at a time. Because you'll have your level 1s in the back that you're training, and then you'll have something out the front that's really strong and able to just wipe out hordes of Pokemon. So the second thing to talk about here is Pokerus, or the Pokemon Virus. It is a random in-game occurrence that doubles the EV gains from battle when infected. If you're kind of confused about when it appears, Nurse Joy will tell you that it has appeared in your party on the first instance that you take a Pokemon that is infected to the Pokemon Center to be healed. Also, if you look in your stat screen, you can see like a little marker that will see they say Pokerus or PKRS or something. And if it's something that's cured, it will have like a pink or pinky purple like smiley face next to it. When it's still as Pokerus, it can spread to adjacent party members after battle, whether that's from a knockout and you ending the battle, or whether you run away. So for this reason, it's better to have your Pokerus spread throughout your party rather than together, because that way they will spread to the things next to them in the party. Because it won't always spread, but when it does, all the Pokerus spreads, if that makes sense. So if you have like one thing at the back of your party and one thing at the front, it will spread to the one next to it, and both of them will spread if it does spread. But if it doesn't spread, none of them will spread. So if a Pokemon is outside of your boxes across the 12 AM mark or the 000 mark in the 24-hour clock, and this doesn't mean the game has to be on either. It can be whether they're just not in the box when the date rolls over, even if the game's off, then it will be cured. So you want to spread the infection to some fodder Pokemon so that you have a preserved contagious strain. A Pokemon that is infected and cured will still gain the bonus EVs from battle, but it can no longer spread the infection to other Pokemon. So to preserve your Pokerus, so you can keep giving it to things that you're breeding, you want to keep a backlog in your boxes of things that are infected that you can just like bring out, spread it a little bit, and chuck them back in the box, because then they won't lose the infection. So a few other tools for the job. First of all is the experience share, which is given to you pretty much as a requirement in the game in both X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It's literally handed to you in a key event. Just make sure you have it turned on when you're EV training, because EVs are basically given whenever something gains experience. So if you have your experience share on and everything in your party is gaining experience, they're all gaining the AEVs. The second thing you'll need, if you have something with sweet scent, as long as the route isn't raining, If you use Sweet Scent in a grass area that's encounterable, or just anywhere in a cave or something, it will produce guaranteed a horde counter. A horde encounter, sorry. And that will basically mean that you've got a very easy way of producing loads of the same type of Pokemon at the same time and KOing them all for lots of EVs of the same kind. And to help with this a bit more as well, you want to be using your spread moves, so like your Earthquakes, your Rock Slides, your Surfs, your Razor Leaf, your Petal Blizzards, anything like that. Because they will allow you to knock out all of the Horde Pokemon quickly and hopefully in one move, with a few exceptions, with things like Sturdy and things that may have Sand Veil or other evasion boosting moves. So preferably you want to use your 100% accuracy moves, but it's not a requirement, it's just something that can make it a bit easier for you. So to move on to the MVP, the most valued Pokemon in your EV training, it is Tropius. That's because it learns Sweet Scent by level up, so it can guarantee you your Horde encounters. It can learn Fly, meaning you can travel quickly from area to area that you want to EV train. It has access to multiple spread moves, being Earthquake and Razor Leaf, so that provides you with Tropius's pretty much baseline set for EV training: Sweet Scent, Fly, Earthquake and Razor Leaf. You can pack up to 5 Mons in the back with their power items and everything, and just put your Tropius in the front, Sweet Scent, wipe out the Horde, all the EVs come in. So you can just sit back and watch those little like diagrams in the super training thing just start pumping up with the EVs really quickly across your whole party. As for where to train, in X and Y, we'll start off with health. Zubat Roost is the best place I found to go because you have Whismur Hordes, which are really common, and they'll give you 5 EVs for the whole Horde, and then you've got the boosts from all your multipliers from Pokerus and the power items. For attack, I found the best places to be in Route 14 and Route 19. These are the swampy areas to the south of Laver City and to the east of Snowbell City. Ekans and Bellsprout will give you 1 EV per Pokemon and 5 per Horde. Arbok and Weepinbell will give you 2. The only issue with these areas is that it rains periodically there, in which case Sweet Scent won't work, so you might need to want to change your DS clock or just come back later. Defense is awkward in X and Y because there's not many places that give it really. The best place I find is to just fly to the Pokemon League and then go into the top of Victory Road and take out Geodude Hordes. Some of them will have Sturdy, so it might take 2 moves to take out the entire Horde, but it's the easiest place to go because you're right next to a center to go and restore your PP. For special attack, the best place is Route 7, basically where the daycare center is, and on the same route where you have the Snorlax event. Psyduck Hordes here will give you +1 special attack per Pokemon and 5 for the Horde, and a rare Horde of Roselia will give you +2 per Pokemon instead. The same route also has Hoppip Hordes, which will give you special defense instead of special attack, and that's what I found to be the best place to train for special defense. For your speed, you want to go to Route 8, which is the cliffside up to the east of Amberette Town on the coastline, and up there you can find Taillow and Wingull Hordes, which will give you speed EVs every time. And what's the other problem with this route is that it can be raining as well, so it just has the same issue with routes 14 and 19. For Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, on the other hand, EV training tends to be a lot easier because you have a lot of guaranteed encounters. Whismur is one of them. Whismur Hordes are 100% chance in Rust Turf Tunnel, and that will give you some really easy health training. Attack, your 100% guaranteed encounter is Shuppet in Mount Pyre. Alternatively, you can go to Sky Pillar, and Ariados Hordes you find there will give you 2 attack EVs per Pokemon and 10 for the Horde. For defense, if you go to the desert on Route 111, you can find Sandshrew Hordes guaranteed. These will be 100% encounter rate, but have the issue of Sand Veil in the Sandstorm, where you might need to use a few moves to take out the whole Horde. The alternative to this is potentially going to Route 16 and relying on the rare Horde encounter of Nincada, and they will give you the same amount as the Sandshrew and all go down guaranteed in the one hit, as long as you don't use a move that can miss. The only issue here is that they're not as common an encounter, and Sandshrew is the guaranteed encounter, so it's just kind of a pick or choose on what you prefer. Special attack, if you go to Route 113, which is the Ashfall route to the east of Falaba Town, you will find Spindle Hordes all the time, guaranteed, so that's really good for your special attack training. And then to the west of Lava Town, before you get to Meteor Falls, in Route 114, every horde in that area will either be filled with Lotad, Swablu, or a combination of the two, both of which give special defense EVs, so that area just means that you can constantly pump through special defense EVs. Speed there's a couple of options here again. You can go for Route 103, which where you can find Zigzagoon and Wingull hordes, which will give you 5 EVs per horde. And the alternative is to go to Sky Pillar, where you can find Golbat hordes, which will give you 2 speed EVs per horde. This, in combination with the Ariados hordes, makes Sky Pillar a very good place to go to EV train for attack and speed at the same time. But other than that, I would say that Shuppet and the Route 103 with the Zigzagoon and Wingull are the best places to go for the stats individually. So for a few extra details, a little bit of number crunching and stuff like that, Pokerus plus respective power item plus a horde full of the 1 EV yield will give you 50 points in a respective stat for the EVs. And for a horde that gives you +2 per Pokemon, you will get 60. This means that for 5 hordes you will get 250 points and need only 2 more points to max out that particular stat to the 252 point maximum and the 63 points bonus for the stat at level 100. Horde training is by far the fastest and most efficient way to bulk EV train your Pokemon. That's pretty much just an indisputable fact. Although it does have its drawbacks in terms of being a much less refined way of doing it if you're looking for specific EV spreads. In terms of EV spreads being more specific, if you want a more delicate and controlled approach, you definitely want to go for the super training function, because that allows you to add only 4, 8, 12 or 1 EV at a time. You can get a baseline with the horde training though, so for example if you want a certain Pokemon to have 68 in a particular stat, you can go and get a +2 horde, get your 60 points, and then go for a +8 super training minigame, and that will give you your 68, and then you can move on to the other stat that you might want to say 124 in or something like that. I would highly recommend doing calculations before you start your training. One thing I would highly recommend above all else is making sure that your Pokemon have odd HP at the level you intend to be using them at. This basically means that whenever you have something that's taking damage over time effects that work on percentage bases, you will always be left over with 1 HP extra because of the way that the game rounds up the health. So for example, if you have, it also works with things like entry hazards. So for example, a Charizard switching in on Stealth Rocks will take 50% of its health in damage because it is 4 times weak to rock. So an odd Charizard with odd HP will go down to half and then have 1 added on because it will be at 0.5, so it will round it up. You'll stay in the green, you'll be above half health, and if you switch out and switch straight back in again, you'll be left with 1 HP, so it essentially gives you that extra turn potential to do something. The exception for this rule is if you're using something that wants to use something, say Belly Drum, because Belly Drum cuts your HP in half. If you're using something with a citrus berry to recover afterwards, you want to have even health, because that way if you're full HP and use Belly Drum, you'll go down to half and into the yellow instead of staying in the green that you would if you had odd HP, and that will mean that you get your berry off. And for example, something like Slurpuff, this is really important because using the berry means that it gets this unburden boost. But other than that, in those few exception areas, you really want to be aiming to have your odd health. So that'll be it for today's episode. If you found this useful or think it would be useful to other people, do leave a like, because the more likes that occur, the more spread this video gets, and the more people get to see it and have it useful for them. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful yourself and you want to see more of these things to help you get through and get into competitive Pokemon battling, then do go and subscribe with the button below as well. And if you think there's anything that I missed or things that you think could improve about this series in general, then do leave comments down below and I'll be sure to pick up on them. So other than that, thanks for watching. Next time I'll be looking at stat modifiers and basically anything from increasing your stats in game and in battle with boosting moves, and things that also reduce the stats of Pokemon. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.